The Isle of Armor update has brought a lot of shenanigans to competitive Pokemon. Some of the new move tutors are absolutely insane, and there's over 100 returning Pokemon that now get to interact with the existing cast. So that means we're going to have new meta threats, we're going to have counters to old meta threats, there's going to be supports and combos like we've never seen before, and that's where things get fun. So for this video, we're going to be going over a couple of the initial strategies. If you end up enjoying it, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and comment down below what's some cool stuff you've noticed with either the returning Pokemon, moveset change. Yeah, that's another thing. Moveset changes. A lot of Pokemon just have different movesets now, so they're going to play like we've never seen them before. Comment down below, and you might get your strategy shown in a future video, because I want to keep talking about this. There's so much possibility. Competitive Pokemon is on fire right now, and there's really no excuse to not get into competitive with the quality of life changes and just how fun Generation 8 is. So here's the first one. Choice Band, Grassy Glide, Grassy Surge, Rillaboom. That's just stupid. Grassy Glide, +1 priority under Grassy Terrain. Grassy Surge brings Grassy Terrain. Also, boosts Grass-type moves by 30% because that's what Grassy Terrain does. Choice Band is 50% more damage, same type attack bonus is 50% more damage, and Rillaboom has a very high attack stat. I can't wait to see it. I haven't played any competitive yet. I've been doing like all the guides and figuring out everything about the Isle of Armor, but I wonder how common this is going to be. I wonder how successful it's going to be, because like this is some of the most instant sweeping or instant high damage I've seen in Pokemon. You just drop Rillaboom, it resets the terrain, so if the opponent was trying to go for some terrain cheekiness, Rillaboom's just fine with that, and then you have crazy amounts of damage. Like in singles, this is just a response, and you can't really do anything about it. So what I want to do was pull up a damage calculator and... Excuse me? You just get to kill Tyranitar for free like that. Okay, like Tyranitar's bulky. It can survive some super effective hits. This Rillaboom is just absolutely nutty. Also, one Pokemon I like bringing up is Silvally. Silvally is just like a tank across the board. Well, not a tank across the board, but if you go up against a sweeping Pokemon, it's most likely not going to be as tanky as Silvally. So if you can do significant damage to it, just kind of shows this Rillaboom one-shots a lot of Pokemon for free. If it can KO the Silvally, that's still a lot of damage. 3/4 of its health, so let's just pull out a random Pokemon like the Jolteon. So Jolteon, that's a KO. How about our boy Cinderace? Now Cinderace, with the Libero ability, might find itself in a non-fire type move. So we don't have the KO. Wait, actually, never mind. It turned off the grassy terrain. Is Cinderace going to have to start getting really weird now? Like, are they going to knock a couple of EVs off attack to get enough hit point? Actually, there's no point. Like, even if you put some investment in, you still have like an 80% chance of getting KO'd. So there we go. Cinderace is so scary. If it KOs one of your Pokemon with like high jump kick, you just come in and then Grassy Glide it, and it can't do anything about it. Well, actually, can Sucker Punch, but you just still mess this Pokemon up. And the Sucker Punch isn't high enough damage to like be bad, and then it's still going to be a neutral hit on the Seed Bomb. So Rillaboom set Revenge kills the Cinderace, and then still has priority on the next Pokemon coming in. Just an idea, just a thought, just a little bit of what's going to happen. Another returning Pokemon, Amoonguss. I mean, we could just talk about the normal Amoonguss shenanigans, where it's like, oh, you sit in singles as a regenerator Pokemon, and then it's disgusting like that, and, you know, Spore puts you to sleep while it Giga drains and Synthesis. Or we can talk about its new move, Pollen Puff. Double support is now even better. Like, you've already seen doubles Amoonguss quite a bit. It uses Rage Powder and puts opponents to sleep, and then has Sludge Bomb damage threat. No, now it can heal. Now it can Cleric. That's not what Amoonguss is supposed to be about. It also has a pitiful speed stat, so it works in Trick Room. Hey, you Rage Powder. They don't focus your Trick Room Pokemon. It gets to Trick Room, and then you can heal it, or put other Pokemon to sleep under the Trick Room, and then Sludge Bomb just hurts. I don't even know what to do for an item here. Like, Black Sludge in doubles doesn't really feel like it does anything. You know, you're getting 1/16 of your health. You might be around for like 3 turns, so you're not getting as much as a Citrus Berry. Effect Spore, yeah. It actually, Effect Spore is kind of weird, because it could activate on a Pokemon, and then the Spore isn't going to work on it anymore, or vice versa. But Regenerator, I guess it can work out. Like, you Citrus Berry into Regenerator. Like, okay, Citrus Berry activates at the end of a turn or something, or you Regenerator switch out, you're getting half your health. It comes back in at some other point, and then still a threat. Again, Rage Powder whenever it wants to open up for your sweeper. It has Spore, Pollen Puff. Yeah, this is, we have some new weirdness and new shenanigans going on with the Amoonguss. It's not, like, as foolproof, though, because there's still, like, fake out threat. It's not like you bring the Psychic Terrain to stop all priority into the Trick Room like we've been seeing, but it can still find itself on a lot of different team compositions, and it's going to be filthy. Alakazam. This was one of the big ones I wanted to look into. If you can successfully get an expanding force just snowball on the Alakazam, it's absurd. This is doubles, so it's got the split damage. And it's a 120 speed Pokemon that's KOing Silvally neutrally in doubles. Pretty much every Pokemon is going to get one shot by this neutrally, unless it's like a full dedicated tank in which it's barely taking, like it's barely going to survive, and then you still have an allied Pokemon to worry about. So you just go Indeedee, and then you run it like this, and you're fine. I like, also when you're looking at like how tanky this is, you might not even need the Life Orb. You just run Choice Scarf on it. Like, Choice Scarf Modest has high chance KO, just Silvally levels of tankiness. So I mean, okay, let's go and pull out Dragapult. What does that mean for the pseudo ledge? Okay. Okay, that's it. You're Scarfed, so you're faster than it. If you can just get Indeedee in there, get a Psychic Terrain, screw it if you Helping Hand and then just extra dominate everything. The only thing that can really save you is a Dark-type Pokemon. Now, yeah, Incineroar is common, but there's also Pokemon like Urshifu that are now going to hard bully out Pokemon like Incineroar and other meta threats. So we don't even know what's going to happen. The meta is going to get so shooken up that anything can just kind of appear. Maybe something from this video becomes the most busted thing ever. Maybe just something completely new that no one's ever thought of ends up taking over. Or it's such a shuffle you can't really predict or rely on anything to be consistent anymore. Which is kind of the ultimate dream of Pokemon. So we got that. But yeah, Expanding Force, 1.5 times power, hits all foes under Psychic Terrain. And the Psychic Terrain gives it 30%, so it's effectively doubling, which means you have a 160 power move. Stab on one of the highest special attackers in the game. On one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. So, Life Orb also means, like, Life Orb, Dazzling Gleam, still going to be a good hit against Dark-type Pokemon. Really good hit against 4-time super effectives. So if you do see the One-Punch Urshifu or Scrafty, yeah, it's really not going to want to get hit by that. Inner Focus means you don't get faked out. So, actually, yeah, Incineroar's, like, fake out threat kind of drops off there, but still a Dark-type Pokemon, so you can't, like, immediately nuke it. And it's also not going to have a weakness to the Fairy-type hits. But then you just kind of like support it. However, you do need to get the Psychic Terrain set up. So you can either do that in like some kind of weird Dynamax Pokemon that gets the Psychic Terrain. There's a lot of things that are going to happen here. Here's just an idea. I wanted to show off the damage. If you find a way to make it work, congratulations. You're winning a lot of games. This is more going to be like anti-tech. Or another weird... Like, the list of interactions is already super exciting, guys. So... With these new terrain moves, you can bring them as responses. Like, you can tech it on a Pokemon, even if you're not planning on bringing the terrain, but if they have it, then you're good to go. You know, Expanding Force, well, there's a lot of people that are bringing the Indeedee to do things, so if you can Expanding Force into it, that's going to be a significant amount of damage onto a Dusclops, and they're the ones that did the Psychic Terrain, so you're still opening up a Pokemon for your support. So... When you think about the Alolan Raichu, there's some kind of electric terrain strategy. Yeah, Alolan Raichu just gets Surge Surfer on it now for free and then gets extra damage. Double the power in electric terrain. And then that also still gets the extra power on top of the terrain while being a 110 speed Pokemon. So, I mean, you just outspeed everything. You do crazy amounts of damage. And that's just going to be a KO bop right there. Maybe a Focus Sash, so it's like you insta-kill one of the opponent's Pokemon, their other Pokemon target you for a revenge hit, you survive, and then you just keep on going with it. So that's nasty. And in doubles, bring Pincurchin. Pincurchin also gets rid of all the other strategies. Are they trying to bring the Grassy Surge Rillaboom in doubles? No, because Pincurchin, it's the slowest Pokemon on the field, which means you're going to have electric terrain. Even though Pincurchin isn't super useful, getting rid of that much of an opponent's strategy and then having Alolan Raichu sitting on this damage is kind of insane. You could also do Life Orb just to make sure you're KOing everything, and then Pincurchin is still a threat. Like, it now has the electric terrain, a good move pool that can hit super effectives, and it just pushes Pokemon out while doing damage. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that you have here. You have coverage, Psychic's still really good, Surf, Draining Kiss. You can also do this in singles. You set up a Pokemon with the just bring Pincurchin, like lead Pincurchin, give it the Terrain Extender, maybe 2-tap a Pokemon. You can do it sometimes. You hit it with an electric type move, go into Sucker Punch. It has solid damage. That just means Alolan Raichu gets a free pickup, and you just keep running away with it. Focus Sash into Nasty Plot is also a possibility, and then you just have a couple of turns of untouchable speed on the Surge Surfer into ridiculous damage on the Rising Voltage, and then the Psychic is still pretty strong. So we might actually see, like, Alolan Raichu might be viable, because terrains are now, like, the new thing you play around. It's more insane and more beyond Weather Wars than we've seen in, like, even peak Generation 5 metagames and stuff. So now with this, like, yeah, Alolan Raichu, you know, you didn't get much with just Tapu Koko, but now in Generation 8, terrain's everywhere. Cursola gets Burning Jealousy. Fire-type coverage on this moveset already with this special attack. That's filthy. I don't know what else there is to say about it. Like, that shouldn't happen, but it does. And now you can just wipe out Ferrothorn. Now you can just wipe out a lot of Pokemon that you couldn't already. It looks like people are going to be giving up the Giga Drain on this Pokemon. I think that's completely fair. Like, Giga Drain for the healing is strong, but just the utility and damage and coverage of Burning Jealousy makes it worth it. Because, like, Earth Power, any Pokemon that can successfully use an Earth Power needs it. It's like that utility just of Earthquake being everywhere. Shadow Ball for stab, Scald for that water coverage. And then Burning Jealousy, you're Cursola. You're slow. If they do stats on that turn, you get the free burn on top of the damage from the Burning Jealousy. And then that could reduce their defenses, which does a lot of beneficial things for Cursola because it has pitiful defenses. So if it hits you with a physical hit, like let's say they go for a Dragon Dance, well, they're actually going to be negative on damage, which means you might survive if it's a not super effective hit. Or after that, you've done a lot of damage to that Pokemon, they're burned, you can switch out into another Pokemon, and Cursola's still safe. So, yeah, that's something to consider. And then it's just like, you can run whatever you want on this Cursola. Assault Vest, Special Attack Dunk, that works really well. Life Orb, that works. You can Dynamax it, but that gets really effective Burning Jealousy. But now you have a Max Flare. Cursola's crazy. Thievul. Once again, terrains are going to be all the rage. So you need to do like anti-terrain Thievul with a Grassy Seed into Unburden, or any kind of terrain seed into Unburden. Now you're doubling your speed, and then you can just be filthy. That's a possibility. All you really need to know is that Dragapult has a 213 speed at level 50. That's faster when doubled. So you're insta outspeeding Dragapult. And you can just go Rillaboom Thievul. So now you have Rillaboom with priority ridiculousness, and then Thievul, which is the fastest Pokemon in the game instantly, before the turn has even begun. So now you just have like damage coverage like that. Nasty Plot, it's risky, but you are gaining defenses. So you're like slightly more not going to die. And then now you're just like, you still have speed. So unless they're like double focus Pokemon, Rillaboom might just get a side KO anyways before the turn even begins as well. If the opponent's dedicating anything to setup, means Thievul could get in and like no one expects the Nasty Plot. Or this also works, again, in singles. You have a Terrain Extender Pokemon. If Rillaboom is around for 5 turns, you probably win the game anyways, so it doesn't really matter at that point. But it's like, yeah, Thievul comes in, takes advantage of any of the terrains that you want to do, Unburden Nasty Plot, and then just run with it. Probably good because of, like, terrain wars and stuff, but yeah, like, that's something ridiculous and fun that people are going to be talking about. Well, I think you guys can see where this is going. Let's talk about Scarm-Bliss. Let's talk about Corviknight. Let's talk about modern shenanigans. Oh, wait, Skarmory gets body pressed? The game has now been flipped completely upside down. Skarmory, in the Scarm-Bliss, didn't really have too much damage threat. A 140, like it's like a 140 attack Pokemon hitting you with a standard move. It's not stab, but that's still going to be a lot of damage. So I was thinking like Corviknight is going to be the new Scarm-Bliss by far. Scarm-Bliss is still going to reestablish as Scarm-Bliss, and is going to be more viable than we've seen in decades. Well, not decades, but in generations. It's weird. It's funny. When you say generations, it's supposed to be a more powerful word than decades, except in Pokemon. Either way, generations. Scarm-Bliss is coming back. Also Chansey, you know, Eviolite Chansey. Technically better, but I still think Blissey has like a lot of that usage and utility just on its sheer hit point pool, especially with how much you're healing on leftovers, how much you're getting back from soft boiled, and how hard you're walling out the opponent. Then the extra benefit of special attack, like there's no Toxic. Toxic got removed as a TM, so you're reliant on the Seismic Toss and coverage damage. Like this is just a thought. You know, it's pretty much soft boiled Seismic Toss and then whatever, but substitute to like slow down special attackers or anti-stall. Like they bring you switch in Blissey against a special attacker and then you sub on their switch. That gives you a free turn to mess up their physical attacker or any other Pokemon that would threaten you. So that's an opportunity. You can also run Natural Cure. Again, Toxic isn't as common, so you might not need it. Like Toxapex can still Toxic you, other Pokemon can still status you, but you're safer to run Serene Grace and then Weirdness. You know, you can do like Flamethrower or Ice Beam, so you can either burn a physical Pokemon in some situations. Like, again, you never really want to be up against a physical Pokemon, but it's like, yeah, you can have substitute flamethrower. So you're burning physical Pokemon. You have a chance to burn physical Pokemon while you have your sub up, or you just have Ice Beam and then you play through it. There it is. There's the flamethrower. I was looking for. I'm like, yeah, you can do something weird like that. So that's a possibility. Calm Mind on the setup, always possible for the chances. So you might not even need the Seismic Toss. Well, you go softball. My brain's just breaking, guys. My brain is breaking at all the weirdness that is now happening. So we go Soft Boiled, Sub, Calm Mind, Ice Beam. And then you can just hit every Pokemon for good damage with a chance to freeze them. And then just hit them even harder. And then keep on setting up even more. You probably just go with the leftovers here. But I mean, man, what happens if you bring like a Confusion Berry and then get a third of your health back while doing other things? And I think leftovers is still good, but Soft Boiled and shenanigans. And then Skarmory, Stealth Rocks has to come back to a degree for Talonflame and Volcarona. Charizard's getting usage anyways, so I mean, you throw out the Stealth Rocks, that's going to mess up a lot of Pokemon, and then you just cycle it. You go into Blissey against their special attackers, they can't hurt it, you heal up, they go into physical attacker, you go into Skarmory, that's going to be a roost, and then you can just kind of body press for ridiculous damage as they're getting chipped by Stealth Rocks. You can whirlwind them around, you get an unfavorable matchup, you go back into the Blissey, and then you just hit them with the Calm Mind, Flamethrowers, or whatever Seismic Tosses, and then you just chip them down until there's nothing left. Now we have Regenerator Pokemon, so you can add even more shenanigans on top of it. Get that Amoonguss with the Spore Regenerator, switch into Skarmory, Blissey, Toxapex Regenerator. You got Sleep Powder on the Eldegoss now. It's nasty. But then there's Corviknight. Corviknight is a win condition. I have swept so many games because if you can get Corviknight, set up with enough body presses, and if their special attacker is not threatening enough against you, then you just go and win the game. So I feel like Corviknight is a more aggressive way of playing a Scarm-Bliss. This is just a stally, unbreakable, super frustrating thing to play with, even with like less toxin now. Like you have to set up against it super hard. Like you have to get in a Pokemon that can Swords Dance, but then, you know, Skarmory, if it can tank that hit, goes for the roost. And with the Sturdy, if it's at full health because of things happening, it can at least stop you from, you know, getting that hard sweep, so you have to reset up again, and by that point, you've already lost a lot from Stealth Rocks and other chip and other stall shenanigans going on. But, I mean, this is more, you know, just brutalizing your opponent in very filthy ways. This, it's a win condition. So, I mean, if you can posture with Blissey to get rid of their Flamethrower, to get rid of their Thunderbolt, to get rid of their special attackers that, you know, really mess up Corviknight. If you make another 2 Pokemon, they're just dedicated special attacker removal, and you bring Corviknight in, get an Iron Defense, get 2 Iron Defenses, you win. So that's another thing. Like, I think the Corviknight is going to play a lot different to the Scarm-Bliss, but you just have massive, defensive, tanky Pokemon and the ultimate anti-special Pokemon in the game. So that's a way of playing it. One interesting thing is Corviknight is tankier than Skarmory overall. Like, it's slightly less tanky defense-wise because of that hit point stat. However, the raw defense is going to get more insta body press. So that is the Skarmory buff right there. That doesn't make it as clear-cut, like Corviknight's always better than Skarmory. But then something like this is still like, yeah, once Corviknight can set up the Iron Defense, it becomes a hard win condition, and Power Trip backs it up against, you know, Pokemon you can't hit with the body press like Ghosts. So there's that. And then Moringa Berry, still maybe the play here. Still maybe the play here on the Moringa Berry, because if they do have a special attacker, but it's hitting you with like water type or ghost type moves, it can still really hurt the Corviknight. So if you can just always avoid special attacks, always go into your Blissey, and then once again the like super effective special threat is gone, just bring Moringa Berry into the neutral special threat, and you're going to be fine. Maybe even because of that, you don't need as hard defense, so knock off a little bit, kind of pad into that special defense, and then this is like your carry, ending sweeper Pokemon. Silliness. Lunatone. Who knew that of all the Pokemon that would just become a sweeper, it would be Lunatone. You rock polish, so you double your speed. This is an important speed tier because, hey, look at that. You're going to deal with the Dragapult really well, but also, if you put in this amount of effort values, you're going to be against the Togekiss. So a +1 Togekiss gets outsped right here, I believe. Oh, that actually way overspeeds Togekiss. I forgot the Pokemon that's for, like 85 base speed. Maybe, I guess I was on something, but I guess I forgot about it. Either way, you can just kind of tweak in the EVs that you want for the Lunatone. But overall, modest nature, max out the special attack. You can get a little bit of extra hit points just kind of leached out of it. And then that gives you the survivability to get the Rock Polish. Once you do that, you power a Meteor Beam. You're now super fast. Barely any Pokemon can just like insta-set up, touch you or anything. Meteor Beam, just nutty amounts of damage. You also get a +1 special attack. So now you just become a sweeper overall. Psychic Stab, Moonblast coverage, and that's going to be a one-shot that also kind of like scales you into the rest of the game. You have Levitate, so if you predict a ground-type move, you switch in the Lunatone, and then you go for it. So that's going to be some fun stuff. Meteor Beam actually getting used with that Power Herb, just a very powerful strategy. Comfey! Comfey's back. Couple of different takes on the Comfey. We got doubles, we got singles. I think singles Comfey. Keyberry, too good with the Calm Mind. So you just wait for the right time to come in. Start setting up those Calm Minds. You got Synthesis, so you can heal before the opponent attacks you again as you're gaining special defense. Take a physical hit. You already have max defenses, so you don't get to scale like indefinitely into those defenses, but 51 base hit points, kind of low. +1 on that max defense will give you that extra survivability. So you take a physical hit, you Calm Mind that turn, Keyberry is going to activate, you Synthesis, you survive, you Synthesis, you get up to good health, and then now you have Priority Draining Kiss or something. And then that's still a lot of damage. That gives you the rest of your health back. Priority Giga Drain for the coverage. Calm Mind whenever you're back at full health to keep on going. And then you just cycle through until you 6-0 the opponent. Because that's Comfey. Like, so disgusting. Triage does not work with Leech Seed though. So this is mostly just like the doubles annoyance. Since you have it, you might as well just throw it out there. Floral Healing, just kind of giving you priority healing on a big sweeper Dynamax threat Pokemon. Draining Kiss, you have pressure on the damage. It's not like insane damage, but you got priority something. So if they have a Focus Sash, maybe you just like quick hit the Mimikyu disguise off. Do something with that. Taunt shuts down a lot of setup, so you can just kind of throw in a little bit of frustration there. But it's mostly going to be about the Leech Seed. Like you're either Leech Seeding one or two of the opponents. If Comfey goes down, well then the Pokemon coming in gets the benefits of that Leech Seed, which could be massive, as you have like the ability to heal one of your stronger Pokemon, Draining Kiss for that tech, or Taunt to shut down opponents. Maybe Protect, depending on what you want to do with this, but Comfey never really like hard supported in doubles, as well as it just kind of like swept in singles. But now Sweeper Comfey is back, and that's going to be some super fun stuff. Then we can go into the last things to talk about, Meteor Beam Starmie. +1 Starmie. Like, Choice Spec Starmie hurts. Choice Spec Starmie with the ability to switch its moves, that's ridiculous. Like, if the opponent doesn't have anything faster than 115 speed, or Sucker Punch, or Grassy Glide. You know, if it, like, Starmie does have some vulnerabilities, but I mean, it's got coverage. Now it's just got, like, a super ridiculous Rock-type move that's going to blow things up. So, like, you also can play this in a couple of different ways, which makes it really interesting. Like, you don't have to immediately Power Herb Meteor Beam, that you can use Surf. Like, if the opponent has a low hit point Pokemon, or you can hit them on super effective Ice Beam, you get, like, a lot of damage on Psyshock. Like, if Starmie Revenge kills a Pokemon, it doesn't have to immediately Meteor Beam, and then you can just save that big damage for a Pokemon, and then you have the +1 coming out of it. So, analytic doesn't really change too much. We got the Natural Cure. Yeah, that's probably going to be good, because if this Pokemon gets paralyzed, not good. If there's more Spore because of Amoonguss running around, not good. So, that's fine. I don't think the Amoonguss can survive a +1 Psyshock, though. But, you know, if like a weird statusy things happen, then Natural Cure is just good to have on a sweeping Pokemon. Boltund now has competitive. Yes. That's going to spice up doubles, because there's so much Intimidate everywhere. So now you have one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. 121 speed. Not a lot of Pokemon get that. That's going to be faster than your boy Cinderace. That's going to be faster than the Inteleon. It's going to be faster than the Starmie. It's going to be faster than a lot of Pokemon. So when that Intimidate comes through, or other like negative stats come in, doubling Boltund's special attack, I like it. On the Life Orb, now it's a very scary Thunderbolt. That's going to be KOing Pokemon. Discharge does have the split damage, but you're hitting both opponents for a massive amount of damage with just one Pokemon. So your other Pokemon, some kind of sweeper, it's going to be pretty nice. Maybe a Helping Hand Pokemon. So Helping Hand, Discharge, that's going to be pretty nutty. This also is not reliant on terrains. So you don't even need electric terrain to make this like super crazy. You just kind of do whatever, and then Boltund gets a lot of damage if you can get that Intimidate for the competitive boost. Unfortunately, there's just like no special coverage whatsoever. Just nothing. Snarl. But that's not going to be like KO levels of damage. So I just have like Thunderbolt to outspeed KO a single Pokemon. Discharge to wreak havoc on both of the opponent's Pokemon. Hyper Beam, just that final nuke. You know, if you can't do it against a grass-type Pokemon or something, just make sure they die, because nothing's going to survive that +2 Hyper Beam, Life Orb, even 90 special attack. Like, it's just crazy damage coming out of this Pokemon. Maybe weirdness if you just, like, Dynamax into a Max Strike. Get away with that, too. And then weird things are going to happen. So, Bolt Hound, something to keep an eye on with the competitive. Then we got Misty Explosion. Like, this is just the free one. You got Choice Specs, Misty Surge, Misty Explosion. You're pretty slow. In doubles, you probably get double focused. Like, you will not... Like, Galar Weezing cannot be allowed to survive, especially if you see the Misty Surge with stuff like that going on. So, could be a hard focus. But in singles, I see it as a free trade nuke. Maxing out the hit points makes it pretty hard to KO. And Poison Fairy doesn't have too many vulnerabilities, so is Misty Explosion, 1-for-1. And then we have Rapid Strike style Urshifu with the King's Rock Surging Strikes. Neil Willis mentioned this, and it's still one of the filthiest things I've seen out of Generation 8 so far. I love it. I think that is going to be hilarious. That if it works, you know, Surging Strikes is already crazy because, you know, you're getting 75 power, you're getting over 100 effective power because of crits into stab, and Urshifu is just a weird little Pokemon because that 97 speed puts in a very interesting speed tier, still a high amount of attack, can also bulk up. So, I mean, you survive stuff if you know you're faster than a lot of the opponent's slower Pokemon. If you've already taken out their sweepers, this is really good, like, cleanup against tanks and other weird stall things going on. But I mean, you bulk up, Drain Punch for healing, that's still going to be good stab damage, and then just, like, Surging Strikes for the shenanigans. And then you get the chance for King's Rock Flinch. Also, you still get a King's Rock Flinch chance on the Drain Punch. So that's something. And then Facade, just in case you get burned or status, you still have a lot of damage. You can look at other super effective moves, but like, here's the weirdness. Say you Poison Jab a Fairy-type Pokemon, well, Surging Strikes is pretty much going to be that much damage. Because we got 75 times 1.5 times another 1.5, and that's going to give us 168. It's actually more? So I mean, actually, yeah, like there's no real reason of running the super effective coverage hit. As long as you're hitting that Pokemon neutral, Surging Strikes is still more damage. So that's a thing. Bulk Up just makes it even crazier. Drain Punch for your stab and sustain. Like I said, Facade is really good tech since it doesn't really matter to have anything else in this slot. Like, having Thunder Punch would be good against Water-type Pokemon or something like that, but the Facade is very universal. And it could also be like a really interesting bait. Like, you bulk up, the opponent hits you with a Burning Jealousy if they hard predicted in some weird way, and then you have a +1 140 power Facade that's still doing madness. But the idea behind this moveset is it's not like the only way you run Urshifu. There's still going to be like just other raw damage, just hard, straight up Urshifus that you're going to see. But if you get randomly flinched on a surprisingly low amount of damage Urshifu, that's why. And it's cheeky, and I love it. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. We just broke down some really cool strats. It's just a little bit warming up into the Isle of Armor. I think it's mostly going to come down to like the weird interactions and meta shifting, but this is a pretty good start, and there's already a lot of really fun stuff to check out. So, if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.